Hello, and welcome to Daily English Whisper. I'm Max, and I'm really glad you're here with me today. Take a slow breath in and gently breathe out. Good. Let your shoulders relax. This is your time, your English time. Today's episode is called Real World English. Useful everyday phrases. And today we are going to do something different. Not basic English. Not classroom English. Real world English. The kind of English people actually use in normal, sometimes unexpected situations. Small moments, quiet moments, moments that are not in textbooks. And my promise to you is simple. By the end of this episode, you will feel more natural reacting in English, even in situations that feel a little uncomfortable or unfamiliar. Not perfect English, not long sentences, real English. Now, maybe you feel like this sometimes. I understand English, but I don't know what to say in real life. I learn phrases, but I don't use them. I freeze when something unexpected happens. And this is very normal, because most learning focuses on planned conversations, but real life is not planned. Real life is full of small surprises, a delay, a mistake, a quick decision, a strange moment, and in those moments, you need simple, natural phrases. Not perfect grammar, not complex sentences, just something real, something you can say without thinking too much. Now, here is something important. Many learners wait for big situations, travel, work meetings, important conversations. But real fluency grows somewhere else. In micro moments, very small situations, situations people usually ignore, and that is where we will focus today. Not common examples like ordering food or introducing yourself. We will go deeper, more real, more human, more useful. So here is the big idea for today. You can build real-world English by learning how to react naturally in small, everyday situations. Not big conversations, small reactions. That is where confidence begins. So relax. You don't need to understand everything. You don't need to be perfect. Just listen. Repeat when I guide you. And stay with the flow. You are safe here. You are learning. Let's begin together. Now, let me ask you something simple. What happens when something small goes wrong? Not something big, something small. Maybe your phone doesn't respond. Maybe a door doesn't open. Maybe something doesn't work the way you expect. In real life, people don't say long sentences. They react quickly, naturally. And this is real-world English. So today, we start with reactions. Small, natural reactions. The kind people say without thinking too much. Now remember the process. You listen first, then you repeat. Slowly. Just once. That's enough. Let's begin. Listen. That didn't go as planned. Now repeat. That didn't go as planned. Good. This is a very useful phrase. You use it when something is different from your expectation. Not a big problem. Just not what you expected. Now, imagine this. You try to open an app and it closes. You try again, same result. And you say quietly, that didn't go as planned. Simple, real. Now another one. Listen. That's a bit off. Now repeat. That's a bit off. Good. This is a subtle phrase. You use it when something feels not quite right, not wrong, just off. For example, you taste something and the flavor is strange. You look at something and it feels different. That's a bit off. Now, another situation. You are doing something and suddenly you forget what you were doing. This happens more than we think. And instead of silence, you can say, listen, wait. What was I doing? Now repeat. Wait. What was I doing? Very nice. This is real English. Natural, human. Now let's continue. Listen. I didn't expect that. Now repeat. I didn't expect that. Good. This is useful when something surprises you. Not always in a big way, sometimes in a small, quiet way. Now here is something important. You don't need to say these phrases perfectly. You don't need the perfect tone. You just need to use them, even softly, even alone. Now, let's try a small flow. Listen and repeat. Something feels different. Now repeat. Something feels different. Good. Next one. Listen. Let me try that. Again. Now repeat. Let me try that again. Excellent. These are not study phrases. These are living phrases. You use them when something happens. And that is the key. You are not learning English for perfect situations. You are learning English for real moments, unexpected moments, small reactions. Now, remember this. If you can react in English, you can start speaking naturally. You don't need a full conversation. You just need a starting point. And these small phrases are your starting point. So, stay relaxed. You don't need to memorize everything. Just stay with the sound. Stay with the feeling. Now, let's talk about the main question. How can you actually use English in real-world situations that are small, subtle, and not very common? Maybe you think things like, I know basic English, but real moments feel different. I can answer simple questions, but I don't know how to react naturally. I understand the words, but I don't know what people really say. And that feeling is very common because many learners practice English in clean, organized situations. But real life is not always clean and organized. Sometimes you are looking for the right elevator, and the signs are confusing. Sometimes you arrive somewhere and realize you are too early. Sometimes you borrow a chair, move a box, wait outside a closed room, or try to fix a small misunderstanding. These are normal moments, very real moments. But people do not always prepare for them. And that is why today matters. Because you do not need only big conversation English. You also need small situation English, reaction English, adjustment English, polite, useful, human English. So in this episode, I'm going to guide you through several simple ways to sound more natural in these everyday moments. Not with difficult grammar, not with advanced vocabulary, just with useful phrases that help you react, adjust, explain, and continue. We will move through a few powerful steps. First, we will look at phrases for when something feels slightly wrong, confusing, or unexpected. Then, we will explore phrases for small social moments, when you need to be polite, flexible, or clear. After that, we will work with phrases for movement and space, those little situations where you need to pass, wait, check, or adjust. And finally, we will go into a very important idea: how to make these small phrases part of your real daily life, so they do not stay inside a lesson. They become yours. That is the goal. Not to know the phrase, to use it naturally, calmly, at the right moment. And if this episode is helping you already, you can support it with a like. That small action helps Daily English Whisper grow and helps more learners find calm, practical English like this. And stay with me until the end, because the final step is where everything begins to feel real. That is where these phrases stop being study material and start becoming part of your voice. So take a slow breath, relax. You do not need to remember everything. Just stay with the situations, stay with the feeling, and let's move into the first real-world step together. Step number 1. Learn how to react when something feels slightly wrong or unclear. Not a big problem, just a small moment of confusion. These moments happen all the time, and this is where real-world English begins. Now imagine this. You are using a machine, maybe a ticket machine, maybe a coffee machine. You press a button and nothing happens. You pause, and instead of silence, you say something. Simple. Listen, that's not working. Now repeat, that's not working. Good. This is a very useful phrase. Short, direct, natural. Now, imagine something different. You look at a sign, but it doesn't make sense. Not completely wrong, just unclear. You can say, listen. That doesn't look right. Now repeat. That doesn't look right. Very nice. This is softer than saying it's wrong. It's more natural, more polite. Now another moment. You hear something, but you are not sure you understood correctly. Instead of staying quiet, you say, listen. Did I hear that correctly? Now repeat. Did I hear that correctly? Good. This is a very real phrase. People use it often, especially in small, uncertain situations. Now, let's go deeper. Imagine you try something again, and it still feels strange. You can say, listen, something's not quite right. Now, repeat. Something's not quite right. Excellent. This phrase is very natural. It shows that you feel something is off, but you are not sure exactly what. Now, here is an important detail. Real-world English is often soft, not aggressive, not too direct. You don't say, this is wrong. You say, that doesn't seem right. Listen. That doesn't seem right. Now repeat. That doesn't seem right. Good. Do you feel the difference? It is more flexible, more human. Now let's imagine a slightly different situation. You are following instructions, but something is confusing. You can say, listen, I might be missing something. Now repeat, I might be missing something. Very nice. This is a powerful phrase because it shows awareness. You are not blaming, you are open. And this makes communication easier. Now let's connect a few phrases together. Listen, that's not working. I might be missing something. Now repeat, that's not working. I might be missing something. Excellent. This is real-world English. Small phrases connected naturally. Now remember this. You don't need long explanations. You don't need perfect grammar. You need simple reactions, short phrases, natural tone. And these moments happen every day, more than you think. So start noticing them. Start using one phrase, just one. That is enough. Even a few seconds of real reaction builds your fluency, because you are not studying anymore. You are responding, and that is the first step to speaking naturally. Let's continue. Step number 2. Handle small social moments with calm, natural English. Not formal conversations, not introductions, just small human interactions. Moments where you need to be polite, flexible, and real. These moments happen all the time, and they are often uncomfortable if you don't have the right phrases. Now imagine this. You arrive somewhere and you are a little early, not very early, just a bit. You are waiting and someone looks at you. You can say something simple. Listen, I think I'm a bit early. Now repeat. I think I'm a bit early. Good. This is very natural, not strong, not awkward, just honest. Now imagine something different. You enter a space and you are not sure if you are in the right place. Instead of staying silent, you say, listen, is this the right place for this? Now repeat, is this the right place for this? Very nice. This is soft and very useful. Now let's go to another situation. You are in a shared space, maybe a waiting room, maybe a quiet office, maybe a small hallway. You need to move past someone. You don't want to interrupt. So you say, listen, sorry, just passing through. Now repeat, sorry, just passing through. Good. This is real English. Short, polite, natural. Now imagine this. Someone is explaining something, but you didn't fully catch it. You don't want to say, I don't understand. That can feel heavy. So instead, you say, listen, I didn't quite catch that. Now repeat, I didn't quite catch that. Excellent. This is softer, more natural. Now, another situation. You are doing something with someone and you need a second. Just a moment. You say, listen, give me just a second. Now repeat, give me just a second. Good. Very common. Very useful. Now let's go deeper. Sometimes something feels slightly uncomfortable. Not wrong. Just not clear. And you want to say something, but in a soft way. You can say, listen, that feels a bit unclear to me. Now, repeat. That feels a bit unclear to me. Very nice. This is natural, and it shows awareness without conflict. Now, let's connect two ideas. Listen. I didn't quite catch that. Can you say it again? Now repeat. I didn't quite catch that. Can you say it again? Excellent. That is a real interaction. Now remember this. Real-world English is often about tone, not only words. You don't need to sound perfect. You need to sound human, calm, flexible, open. And these phrases help you do that. They give you space, they give you time, they help you stay inside the conversation, even if you are not fully comfortable. Now, let's do one more small shadowing moment. Listen. I can stay calm in small social moments. Now repeat. I can stay calm in small social moments. Good. Another one. I use simple phrases to stay in the conversation. Listen. I use simple phrases to stay in the conversation. Now repeat. I use simple phrases to stay in the conversation. Excellent. Now, think about your day. Not big conversations, small moments, waiting, passing, listening, adjusting. These are your training moments. These are where real fluency grows. Step number 3. Use English for movement, space, and small adjustments. This is one of the most useful parts of real-world English. Why? Because many real situations are not long conversations. They are physical moments. You need to move, wait, check something, make space, change direction. And in those moments, short phrases are enough. Now imagine this. You are standing near a door and someone needs to get through. You move a little and say, listen, go ahead. Now repeat, go ahead. Good. Very natural. Very common. Now another moment. You are the one who needs to move past someone. Not in a dramatic way, just a small moment. You can say, listen, can I get by? Now repeat. Can I get by? Very nice. This is short and useful. Now imagine something else. You arrive somewhere, but you stop and look around. You want to check the space. You are not sure where to stand or where the line begins. You can say, listen, is this where the line starts? Now repeat. Is this where the line starts? Good. This is a real phrase. Very useful in everyday life. Now let's go to another situation. You sit down somewhere and then realize you may be in the wrong place. You don't panic. You just say, listen, I can move if this seat is taken. Now repeat. I can move if this seat is taken. Excellent. That is polite, calm, flexible. Now imagine you are carrying something small, a bag, a box, a folder, and you need a moment to adjust. You can say, listen, let me put this down for a second. Now repeat. Let me put this down for a second. Good. This is the kind of phrase people really use. Not flashy, not textbook, real. Now another moment. You are walking with someone and suddenly you need to stop. Maybe to check something. Maybe to look again. You can say, listen, hang on, I need to check something. Now repeat. Hang on, I need to check something. Very nice. This is a strong everyday phrase. Simple but alive. Now let's imagine one more situation. You are almost in the right place, but not completely sure. You don't want to act too fast. So you say, listen, let me make sure this is the right one. Now repeat. Let me make sure this is the right one. Excellent. That phrase gives you time, and in real-world English, time is very important. Small phrases help you slow the moment down. They help you stay calm. They help you sound natural, even when you are unsure. Now, let's connect a couple of these phrases in a more fluid way. Imagine this small scene. You arrive, you look around, you pause, and you say, listen. Is this where the line starts? Or should I wait over there? Now repeat. Is this where the line starts? Or should I wait over there? Very good. That feels real, because real English often happens in small adjustments like this. Now remember something important. A lot of fluency is not about big vocabulary. It is about managing small moments. Well, if you can move naturally, ask naturally, adjust naturally, you already sound more real, more present, more comfortable. Now, before we continue, I'd love to hear from you which kind of phrase feels most useful so far. Phrases for confusion, small social moments, or movement and space. You can leave a simple comment below. Even a short answer is enough. And stay with me until the end, because the last step is where these phrases truly become part of your life and part of your voice. Step number 4. Use English to manage small changes and unexpected moments. This is where real-world English becomes very powerful. Because life is full of small changes, plans shift, timing changes, details are not exactly what you expected. And in those moments, you need flexible language, not perfect sentences, flexible phrases. Now imagine this. You planned something, but now it needs to change. Nothing dramatic, just a small adjustment. You can say, listen, let's adjust that. Now repeat, let's adjust that. Good. This is very natural, simple, but useful. Now, imagine something else. You thought something would take a short time, but it's taking longer. You don't complain, you just say, listen, this is taking a bit longer than I thought. Now repeat, this is taking a bit longer than I thought. Very nice. This is very real. People use this all the time. Now, another situation. You are doing something and suddenly you realize something small, a detail, a correction. You can say, listen, oh, I see what happened. Now repeat, oh, I see what happened. Good. This is a great phrase. It shows understanding in a calm way. Now let's go deeper. You are in a situation where something feels slightly unclear, but you don't want to stop everything. You can say, listen, let's go with this for now. Now, repeat, let's go with this for now. Excellent. This phrase is very natural. It shows flexibility. It keeps things moving. Now imagine something unexpected happens. But it's not a big problem. You stay calm. You say, listen. That's manageable. Now, repeat. That's manageable. Good. This is not a common textbook phrase, but it is very real. It shows calm control. Now, another moment. You need a moment to think, to adjust, to understand. You don't rush. You say, "Listen, let me think for a second." Now repeat, "Let me think for a second." Very nice. This gives you time, and time is very important in real conversations. Now let's connect a few ideas into one natural flow. Listen, this is taking a bit longer than I thought. Let me think for a second. Now repeat. This is taking a bit longer than I thought. Let me think for a second. Excellent. That sounds real. That sounds natural. That sounds human. Now remember this. Fluency is not about always knowing what to say immediately. Fluency is about managing the moment, staying calm, buying time, adjusting naturally. And these phrases help you do that. Now let's do one more short shadowing. Moment. Listen. I stay flexible when things change. Now repeat. I stay flexible when things change. Good. Another one. I don't panic. I adjust step by step. Listen. I don't panic. I adjust step by step. Now repeat. I don't panic. I adjust step by step. Excellent. Now think about your own life. Not perfect situations, real situations. Small delays, small mistakes, small changes. These are not problems. They are opportunities. Opportunities to use real English, to sound natural, to build confidence. And the more you use these small phrases, the more your English begins to feel real, not learned, lived. Now, let's take everything we've practiced and make it part of your real life. Because this is the most important step. Not learning more phrases, using them naturally, without forcing it, without waiting for the perfect moment. So let's turn these phrases into small daily habits. Very small, very simple, but very powerful. First, start noticing your reactions. Not big reactions, small ones. When something feels off, when something changes, when something is unclear, instead of silence, say one sentence in English. 4. Example. You try something and it doesn't work. Listen. That's not working. Now repeat. That's not working. Good. That's a real moment. You didn't create it. It happened. And you used English. Now another habit. When something changes slightly, say it. Not in a big way. Just naturally. Listen. This is taking longer than I thought. Now repeat. This is taking longer than I thought. Very nice. You are not performing. You are reacting. That is the difference. Now, another micro habit. Use English to slow yourself down when you feel a little unsure or need a second. Instead of staying quiet, say something simple. Listen. Let me think for a second. Now repeat. Let me think for a second. Good. This gives you space, and it makes your English feel more natural. Now let's go deeper. Start combining these phrases with real situations in your day. Not common examples, real ones. For example, you open something and it feels different. You say quietly, that doesn't seem right. Or you arrive somewhere and something is slightly unclear. You say, I might be missing something. These are small moments, but they are everywhere. and each one is an opportunity. Now imagine a normal day. You move, you wait, you adjust, you react. And in those moments, you use one phrase, just one. That is enough. Because fluency is not about speaking all the time. It is about using English at the right moment. Now, let's create a small natural flow. Listen. That's not working. Let me try that again. Now repeat. That's not working. Let me try that again. Good. Another. 1. I didn't expect that, but that's manageable. Listen. I didn't expect that, but that's manageable. Now repeat. I didn't expect that, but that's manageable. Excellent. This is real-world English. Flexible, calm, connected. Now remember this. You don't need to practice for hours. You need to notice moments and use them. Even once, even briefly, because those moments repeat again and again. And every time you use English in those moments, it becomes easier, faster, more natural. Now take a second. Think about your day, not a perfect day, your real day. Where can you use one phrase, one small reaction, one simple sentence? That is where your practice begins. Not in theory, in life. Let's move into the final part, together. Take a slow breath. You don't need to remember every phrase. You don't need to repeat everything perfectly. Just stay with the feeling of what you practiced today. You explored something very important, real-world English, not textbook English, not perfect English, real English, the kind of English people use in small, natural moments. You learned how to react when something feels off, how to stay calm in small social situations, how to move, adjust, and respond in everyday spaces, how to handle small changes without pressure. And most importantly, you learned how to use English in micro moments, very small moments, because that is where fluency really grows. Not in long conversations, not in perfect situations, in real life. So here is your secret sentence for today. Listen carefully. Small, real moments build natural English. Listen again. Small, real moments build natural English. Now, repeat. Small, real moments build natural English. Good. This is your idea. When something small happens, use English. When something changes, use English. When something feels unclear, use English. You don't need to say much. Just one phrase, just one reaction. That is enough. Now imagine your day again. You open something and it doesn't work. You say, "That's not working." You hear something strange. "I didn't expect that." You need a second. "Let me think for a second." You adjust. That's manageable. These are not big sentences, but they are real. And real language is what creates real fluency. Now, here is something very important. You don't need to wait until you feel ready. You become ready by using these phrases again and again, in small ways, in quiet ways, and slowly. You stop thinking, "What should I say?" And you start saying what feels natural. That is the shift. That is the moment when English becomes part of you, not something you study, something you use, something you live. And I want to tell you something. If you listened carefully, if you repeated, if you stayed here until now, you are already improving. Even if it feels simple, even if it feels slow, you are building something real, and I am proud of you. So keep going, keep noticing small moments, keep using simple phrases, keep practicing in real situations. And if you enjoyed this episode, you can subscribe to Daily English Whisper, so you can continue building your English step by step in a calm, real, and natural way. I'm Max, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care and keep going.